That's not how rich people sound. I'm gonna do my intro with my 14 karat rose gold mask. Not sure how much it is individually, but a pack of 5 is $160. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking like that. But I am gonna do my intro with this mask on. This is too expensive to just be used as a prop for the beginning, so I'm leaving it on while I'm talking to you guys. So today's video is going to be me using the most expensive makeup I own. I know I talk a lot about not having money, and I'm not lying about that. That's true. So it may come as a surprise to you guys to know that I actually do own expensive makeup. Yes, Kathleen gave me all of it, you know? It's whatever. The point is, I have expensive makeup, and today I'm gonna use it with you. Some of the stuff I use every day, some of it I haven't touched in my, okay. You gotta go, bitch. It's probably like 40 bucks right here, but I can't talk with it on. I'm gonna try to save it, but okay. Anyway, I just thought it would be interesting to do a video featuring the most expensive makeup I own and then let you guys know if I feel that's worth the money. Sometimes I'll use an expensive product when I'm doing my makeup, but it's few and far between. Like I'll reach for one expensive thing and then usually the rest is like mid-price. I know there's like a whole luxury tier, like Too Faced and stuff are considered something else, not high-end. I don't know, okay? I don't know science. But basically, I find myself using brands like Too Faced or Tarte or things like that more often than I would ever find myself using like a Marc Jacobs or a Tom Ford or a Givenchy. I know how to say it. You're surprised, I know. My husband's French, bitch. Also, I know I was drinking in my last video, but you know what? It's Friday night, and to that one person who was like, this girl drinks a lot. Listen, bitch, if you had my life, you'd drink a lot too. Frankly, I don't drink enough. Before I begin, I do want to give a disclaimer that this is not a full face. Like it's mostly expensive brands, but there's 1 or 2 or 3 things that are not expensive that I'm going to be using today. I just did not have those particular products in an expensive form for this video. There's always those 3 people who want to point that out, but I'm saying it before you say it, so I win. That's math. All right, now that I said that, let's just get into it. So eye primer is one of the things I don't have, but I'm gonna put on my Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in Eden, which is the one I always use. I'm just gonna look into this Pat McGrath mirror, just so I can see really clear. Ugh, I'm such a sucker for expensive things. I convince myself they're better than everything else. It's just consumerism at its finest. Okay, so my Natasha Denona palette and my Pat McGrath palette, they both do not have a cream shade. But okay, I'm just gonna use some powder, but not just any powder because I'm not a freaking peasant. I'm gonna be using Marc Jacobs powder. This is the Finish Line Invisible Loose Powder. And I've used this for quite some time, and I have to say, I truly don't like it that much. Like it's okay, it's not horrendous, but it's not something I ever reach for unless I have to because I can't find my other powders. All right, so now that I'm actually trying to use both of these palettes as like a full functioning palette where I'm trying to get like a whole eye look out of it, I'm realizing that the Pat McGrath palette, this is the Mothership palette, and I'm realizing that it has no transition shades, and then the Natasha Denona one has around 3 transition shades, which at least is a little bit better, but I'm pretty shocked that the Pat McGrath one, did I drool on that? Ew. Oh no, that's not drool, just kidding. But anyway, so I'm gonna have to use the Natasha Denona palette, but before I do that, I'm gonna clean my brushes on some toilet paper, keeping it classy. Gotta balance this video out. Today has been one of those days where I'm literally walking around in circles. I have so much to do today. I have videos to edit, brand deals to film, regular videos to film, and you know what I've done? Nothing. I was literally just walking in circles around my room. I felt like a crazy person. Has that ever happened to you where you have just so much shit to do that your brain doesn't let you do any of it? It's so fucking frustrating. But at least I'm filming this video. That was on the list. So we're going somewhere. So I'm going to take this peachy color over here. It's called Flesh. And I do not think I've ever used this color, which is really weird because it's actually a color that I like. Hold on, I'm gonna zoom you in. That's totally a color I would normally use. So I find it really weird that I have not used it. So I'm just gonna grab that color and I'm gonna work it into my crease. I have no idea what kind of a look I'm going for. From what I'm noticing right now, I've never used the matte shades in this palette. It's blending nicely. Is it nicer than any cheaper matte I have? No, it's not. By the way, obviously, if you watched my last video, which was an anti-haul, I misspoke and I was basically talking about the Sunset palette when I should have been talking about the Sunrise palette. Thank you to the 5,000 people who pointed it out. I just wanted to like quickly mention that and say that yes, I have seen the Sunrise palette since I posted that video, and no, I have no interest in getting it. I know it's $65, which is cheaper obviously than $129. Just personally to me, I have literally every color that's in that palette in other palettes. So for me personally, it would not be worth getting that palette. But to those of you that enjoy it and love it so much that you got angry at me for mentioning the wrong palette, I'm happy for you. I'm happy you're enjoying it, but it's just not for me. There is quite a lot of fallout with these shadows. If that's something that annoys you, then this palette might not be for you. This palette does retail for $129, which to me is absolutely unjustifiable for any palette that ever existed. This palette is super expensive. I'm not exactly sure. I'm gonna put the price of everything on the screen. And this palette is absolutely gorgeous, but it is not worth what it is sold for. The only reason why I obsess over this palette is for this shade right here. It's the shade I'm going to use all over my lid, so I'll show it to you in a little bit. But that's what I need if I'm going to spend that much money on something. I need something unique, something that I can't get anywhere else. And so far, the shade and the formula is like totally something I can get in other places. But it does blend nicely. It is a soft buttery matte, and I like it so far. I'm just going to blend that in, even though honestly it doesn't need too much blending. It did go on nicely. Can you believe I did not use this green for St. Patrick's Day? It's green but has a black duochrome. It's so insane. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot it existed. I'm telling you, I forget about a lot of the shit that I have that's so expensive. A lot of the shades here that I have for darkening up the crease are a little bit dull for me. I have this as a transition, but I feel like there's not really a good deepener other than that. I mean, I can use this one, but this is kind of just like another transition, just more cool tone. I feel like I'm just gonna end up putting transition and dark. So I'm just gonna go into this brown, I guess. So I'm just gonna go in. Oh God. That is not what I thought it was gonna be. What the hell? I mean, this is a more cool tone brown, and we all know cool tone shades are from the devil. Cool tone shades do not blend right ever unless you're like some sort of fucking wizard. It looks like doo-doo brown. Okay, I'm gonna try not to panic. And before I blend that in, I'm going to put it the same on the other eye, and then I'm gonna go in with a shade from the Pat McGrath palette that's a little bit warmer before I start trying to blend this doo-doo brown color. I'm gonna dip into this shade right here from the Mothership palette. It has a slightly red tone to it, so something tells me it's just gonna blend a little bit better, hopefully. And honestly, hopefully it's a little bit more pigmented. That shade from Natasha Denona was not that pigmented. Looks like I just rubbed fucking Oreo cookies on my eye. Damn it! I feel like everyone's gonna have these palettes and be like, you fucking dumb bitch. You just don't know how to use it. Which is the truth for everything. I just really wing makeup. I just try to do the best I can. And most of the time, it's not enough. I'm gonna bring the color up here a little bit because I'm gonna be winging out my liner. This is making me cringe a little bit. I normally put on a transition shade. Then I start going to gradual shades that are gonna lead to my deeper shade. I don't like to just do transition and then dark. I feel like it doesn't look as pretty in the end. But it's pretty much all we have. Out of 2 luxury palettes, none of them have a good like middle shade. They're all either just transition or dark. Okay, so I cleaned off on my brush and I'm gonna go into that same transition shade that we used, and I'm going to run that over the top of what I did before I start blending. My eyes are pretty hooded, so I kind of always get that, but I'm gonna cut my crease a little bit so I feel like it'll look better in the end. I feel like makeup is obviously about skill to some degree, but I also feel like it's about how good you are at cleaning up the fucking mess you make, because I make a mess every single time I do my makeup, and then I just put a little concealer here, blend a little there. In the end, usually things look all right. And I'm going to run over everything and just kind of blend for the next 5 years. A lot of beauty people cut out their blending just because it is such a boring process. Let me know in the future if you guys want me to keep in all my blending. I feel like by now everyone's seen beauty people like blend for 5 years, so I feel like we all know what we're doing, kind of. Okay, so we are going to cut our crease, and by we I mean me. I don't know why I said that. I do not have a luxury concealer. I honestly don't even know of any popular. I guess a NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer or whatever, that's pretty popular, but I feel like mostly brands like Too Faced, Tarte, things like that are the ones that get like the popularity, which is good. I mean, who the fuck wants to be buying a $60 concealer? I'm just gonna be using my Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer, and I'm gonna grab a little concealer brush, get a good amount of that, and I'm just gonna slightly cut my crease. I've been doing this recently because my eyes are pretty hooded and I feel like this makes my makeup look neater. It also really brings out my lid shade, but also like if I don't try that hard on my eye look, as long as I try on my cut crease, everything works out in the end. And sometimes I go too high like I just did right now. Fuck my life. I'm telling you, nothing's going right today. Sometimes I'll be cutting my crease and my brush just fucking slips. But now I have to match it on the other eye or else it won't look right, so whatever. It's so difficult for me to talk and do this. Oh my god, I keep fucking up. Okay, hold on. I need to shut the fuck up and fix this eye. I do have to say though, I'm holding up this Pat McGrath mirror. It is so heavy. This palette is ridiculously heavy, and I know it's like supposed to be luxury packaging, but wow, it's really inconvenient if you're trying to hold it. But another convenient thing about it is it holds on its own where you put it, so if you want to like sit it somewhere and do your makeup on the go, you could do that too. So pros and cons. Okay, I have royally fucked up this cut crease, but I think I can fix it with my lid shade. I hope I can fix it with my lid shade. Oh shit, I didn't prime my face. I just realized that. That's okay, we can just prime it in a second. Okay, so I'm gonna be going into this shade right here. It is absolutely one of the most magical shades I have ever seen. It's a mixture of like pink and gold duochromes. It looks wet. It is so stunning. To me, this whole palette is worth it just for this shade. Okay, wait, just kidding. Just kidding. This palette is too expensive to be worth it for that shade, but I do have to say this shade is the most beautiful shade I've ever seen, ever. So I'm gonna put that all over my lid. It has glitters in it. Every time I wear this shade, someone asks me about it. They're like, what are you wearing? It looks like a golden mermaid pink shade. Like I can't deal with it. It's so beautiful. So I'm just putting that everywhere that I put my concealer shade. And then if I fucked up my cut crease, I'll go in with like a pencil brush, grab the same shade, and then kind of map out where I want it to go so that I can fix my cut crease a little bit. I know this is not how you're supposed to do it, but you know what? Life is short and also really long and horrible. We should go back to the good old days when there's no rules to makeup. That was like an actual saying that people used. Now every beauty guru's comments is filled with people telling them what they're doing wrong. I feel like you can't see the shade properly on camera, and it's very, very frustrating because so pretty, but you're just gonna have to take my word for it. I'm gonna grab some more of that deep shade from Pat McGrath, and I'm gonna just tap it on my outer corner. And I don't have like a rhyme or reason. I just little by little start kind of trying to blend these shades. I like the look of a cut crease in this part, but never here. I just don't want it to look too uniform here at the end. I just kind of want it to look like the eyeshadow blends into that dark color. Do I think this looks good? No, I don't. You know, it is what it is. This is not supposed to be like a tutorial. I'm just trying to make these products work. So don't come for me, okay? I know this isn't my best eye look. Just trying to live my life. Okay, so I'm gonna prime my face really quick. I'm gonna be using the Yves Saint Laurent Touche Éclat Bleu Primer. Yeah, my husband's French. I pretty much know what I'm talking about. This is their blur primer. I have used this a few times. For a blur primer, I find it very strange that there are so many particles of glitter in here. I have never personally felt like this made a very good difference in my makeup. It does not make my makeup last longer. I don't remember if it really blurs, but I guess we'll see today and how it looks with foundation on. It feels really greasy. It feels like Popeye's chicken just shat on my face. That's what it feels like. Oh my god, and I have glitter all over my face now. Oh my god. It's a mixture of glitter from the Pat McGrath eyeshadow, like when you're looking under here, but as far as the rest of my face, that's all the blur primer. So while I'm waiting for that primer to sink in, I'm gonna go off camera really quick and I'm gonna do my eyeliner and my lashes. I don't have anything expensive to share with you for those, sorry. Basically, I just do my wing and then I smoke it out with black liner. So I'm gonna be using the black shade from the Pat McGrath one, which I have used before to smoke out my liner. That's what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna put on my lashes and I'll be right back. So I did want to come in really quick because I did my eyeliner, but I forgot that I was gonna do my mascara on camera because I do have an expensive mascara that I'm gonna be using. I have two, in fact. I'm using the Marc Jacobs Prime Velvet Primer and the Pat McGrath Fetish Eyes Mascara. If you guys follow Kathleen, she never stops talking about these two. So I gave in and bought them. I tell that bitch I buy everything she talks about. She's so convincing. I have been using them for a while, so I feel like I can give a pretty good opinion on them. This primer, I really don't know. No, I don't think I like it that much. When you first put it on and you see your lashes all white and super voluminous and you're like, whoa, this is like really gonna do something. And then it like just doesn't. At least not for my eyelashes. Like I said, I know Kathleen loves this primer and swears by it and like says that it makes other mascaras look better. I just personally don't feel that way. I do not think that it makes my lashes, once mascara is over them, look any better. And not only that, the whiteness of the primer, I thought that it would maybe like dry to a clear situation or something like that, but it does not. It actually dries white, and then when you put a mascara over it, you have to put a lot of it or else the white will show through in certain parts. So it stays white, very, very white. And so in turn, you have to be putting a lot of coats on, which then to me, in my lashes, makes them look weighed down and clumpier. Like I feel like I need a really lightweight, thickening, but still lengthening mascara for my lashes not to look super short and stubby. I don't have straight lashes that like stick out, but I do have lashes that are a little bit stubborn. So maybe it's just me, but I personally don't love that primer. And I don't love this mascara either. I feel like it is not good enough on its own. I don't know if you could see that. It's just really, really thick. It's not even that volumizing for the amount of clumpiness that it is. Like, it's weird. I don't love this mascara at all. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I've been putting a lot of coats on and the white is still showing through over there. And this area gets so fucked on my lashes because I sleep on my left side. So like my lashes on this side are all curled. Like to put on false lashes is a journey. But anyway, I'm gonna put on my false lashes. I'll be right back. Okay, so for foundation, I'm gonna be using some Tom Ford foundation. It's whatever. Just had this lying around. Also, this foundation, I have used it before. It is not by any means a very high coverage or thick foundation. It does not wear very long. This is their Traceless foundation, by the way, and it does have SPF. So this is never something that you would want to wear to the club because you're gonna be looking like Flashback Mary up in this bitch. But this would be a foundation perfect for daytime, except for the fact that it does not wear very long. So not perfect for daytime. I did not purchase this foundation. I was given this foundation. I don't think I would have purchased this foundation. The price is just outrageous. And although it's nice that it's lightweight and not very heavy on the skin, I am someone that needs coverage, and either I'm gonna cake on concealer to get that coverage or I'm gonna wear 5,000 layers of this foundation. And it's just too expensive to be doing that, in my opinion. So although I don't mind this foundation, I think it's either best mixed with other foundations or just not used at all. And according to my hand, this does oxidize. Overall, I don't see it. I don't see it being worth the price. I'm going to conceal again with my Born This Way concealer, and I'm also going to have to spot conceal with this. I know, I use a lot. Wow, my face is the definition of dewy right now. Holy shit. I don't think I've ever put on a foundation that's this dewy. I'm gonna just spot conceal with my Born This Way concealer. Can we just take a second to just appreciate how amazingly blended my neck makeup is? I mean, honestly, can you see where I started and where I ended? If you thought James Charles was amazing at blending his foundation down his neck, I mean, check this out. Okay, so I am going to set my under eyes and my spots with my Marc Jacobs powder. I am gonna fight every urge in my body to go for my Aquassurance Compact Foundation from JCat Beauty. This is the only thing, if you're new to this channel, that I set my acne spots with. It's the only thing that gives me enough coverage. So I'm just going to set my under eyes with my sponge. I'm not particularly gonna bake. I'm gonna wipe this off pretty quickly. Also, I hate this net. I hate that it comes in a little net. I'm like trying to pounce the powder on. And then if you want to put it in the cap, you fucking can't. It has like a little circle thing here blocking you from using the cap to tap it into. I think this is the dumbest packaging I've ever seen in my life. But I'm gonna grab my dense brush and act like I am using the JCat Beauty powder and just kind of go over any spot that I have so that when I go over it with powder, it doesn't get disrupted, especially right here. I'm growing a little horn. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go over my entire face and see, I have to like stab the Marc Jacobs powder with my brush in order to get product. It's so dumb, but I'm gonna set my entire face. I have combination skin, but I definitely will get oily. I cannot leave. Really? I just pulled a Patrick Star bitch. But like I was saying, I just cannot leave my skin this dewy. It will be a fucking disaster. Okay, so upon powdering my skin, I definitely see glitters showing through, like full on glitters. I'm gonna see if I can show you. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I do have full on specks of glitter, especially around like these areas from the primer, which is so ridiculous. It's not even an illuminating primer. It's a blur primer. What is happening? My skin looks fucking awful. I'm gonna go ahead and blame the powder because that's something I have noticed with this Marc Jacobs powder. It's so heavy. But I'm gonna spray some of my Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. This is something that I find always helps me look less cakey, so I put it on after I powder. And hopefully this helps because it was already separating around my nose. Sometimes when things are really cakey, oh my god, I can't believe I'm fanning with this heavy ass palette. It's like working out with a fucking shake weight. Not that I ever did that. But my foundation already here by my nose was getting a little splotchy. I just think that that foundation and the powder did not mix very well. After the Continuous Setting Mist, I still don't love how my face looks. Around my nose, I feel like it's definitely cakier than I like. It just looks a little bit heavy. And like I said, I do think that had a lot to do with the Marc Jacobs powder. That powder is honestly just trash. Okay, so for bronzer, I'm gonna be using this bronzer. It's not even a bronzer, is it? It's a foundation. Bitch, what the fuck? Okay, so this is from the brand Lila B, and this says it's their Be Natural Flawless Finish Foundation. This packaging is so heavy, it literally feels like you're holding a big ass rock. It slides like this, and I always thought this was a contour shade because it's much grayer than what I'm used to for either powder foundations or bronzers in general. So I was gonna use this to try to bronze with, but I pretty much know I'm gonna have to go in with my bronzer from Fenty Beauty. Now, I don't know if this is considered a luxury brand to you guys, but this little tiny ass 0.28 ounce ass bronzer is $54. So I would say that's pretty luxurious. Now the fact that they labeled this a foundation is pretty laughable. This is not enough product for foundation for one day. Absolutely ridiculous, but I'm gonna use it as bronzer because it's obviously too dark for my skin tone. So let's see how this works. I have never used this before, so this is a first impression. And yes, I'm using it on a dirty ass brush, but I wiped off this brush. It's just like stained forevermore. So it will be the Lila product that's going on my face. Maybe a little bit of Fenty Beauty in that bitch, but whatever. It's not the worst color. I thought it was gonna look grayer than that. To be honest, I think it's only the little bit of Fenty Beauty residuals on this brush that's carrying this bronzer along, because without that, I feel like this would look like nothing, like no pigments coming out. Let me try to swatch this. Okay, let's dig really deep into this, and then I'll swatch it here on my arm. Sorry if that's like your holy grail bronzer. I mean, I doubt it. I'm gonna go into my delicious Fenty Beauty bronzer in Shady Biz and actually bronze up my face, get some real color up in this beach. I always brush and blend my bronzer because I don't want bronzer helmet or just too much bronzer in general, so I always go over what I just bronzed. I unfortunately do not have a blush for this part, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put on my Too Faced Fruit Cocktail blush in Strobe Berry. This blush is a little glowy and glittery, which is not going well with that glittery ass primer. I look like a fucking disco ball. For highlight, I'm gonna be going into this Tom Ford Skin Illuminating Powder Duo. This is in the color Mood Light, and I have to say, this is not that good. When I did receive a Tom Ford highlighter, I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna change my life. This is what I've needed all along. And honestly, guys, it's just not. I'm gonna first go into this lighter shade because I feel like it's better for my skin tone. This is pretty dark for me, but I'm gonna go into the lighter shade first. And I have to say, the pigment is just not there. I can go really hard and then I'll get some pigment. And it's chalky as fuck. But I'm just gonna put that on my skin, and then I'm gonna go over it with the color under that to get a more intense, there you go. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord. That was too much. That color on the bottom of that white shade is definitely way more reflective. I don't know why they would put two completely different formulas in the same highlight palette. Like, you would think that you would get some consistency for this amount of money. This actually looks pretty. I definitely put too much on, but the combination of both of them does look pretty on the skin for sure. However, the amount of money is not justified at all. I want to look up how much this is actually. So these run for $85. My favorite highlighters in the entire world are Ofra Cosmetics highlights. They are, to me, the best formulas. They definitely can achieve the same look, if not a better look, because this is pretty glittery. Like, when you look up close, there are clear chunks of glitter in this highlight. I think it's on the one, yeah, it's on the one on the bottom. It's definitely got glitter in it. So to me, I don't like that look for anything other than like if I'm going to a bar or somewhere where the lighting's real dim. No thanks. I'm gonna finish up my eyes. I'm gonna do this really quick, and I'm just gonna grab this color that I used in my transition and this shade right here and just blend them both together. Okay, and I've got a lot of powder on my lashes, so I'm actually gonna get my liquid liner and I'm gonna run over the top of my lashes wherever there's powder on them, just to make sure they look nice and black, especially on this side, because I really messed this side up. Okay, and then for my inner corner, I'm kind of going back and forth on which shade I should use for that. I think I'm gonna go with the Natasha Denona palette and this super light glittery shade. I'm really not sure if it's picking up on camera because of the lights, but it's a really, really, really pretty shade. It is, what the fuck? What? Oh, hell no. Okay, so like I said, I was gonna use that shade. It's called Galaxia, and it looks really pretty, really light and glittery. But when you pick it up, it literally crumbles. And then when you swatch it, it's just like crumbly, shimmery mess. That is exactly how it's swatched. Super chunky and just not, no, I'm not putting that on my inner corner. Are you crazy? That is so disappointing. Okay, well then, I guess my only other option is this white from Pat McGrath, except it's not just white. It like has a pink duochrome. So, okay, I'm just gonna pick up a lot of that. It doesn't seem super high shine like the one that I'm using on. Oh, damn it. It just looks like I put more of the lid shade on. Like it just looks kind of pinky and the same as the other shade. That's not what I wanted. All right, I guess that's as good as that's getting. It really is not what I wanted for an inner corner highlight, but okay. I'm gonna put a little bit of that Pat McGrath mascara underneath. And then for my lips, I'm gonna be using two things. The first thing is this Marc Jacobs Snap Shut. No, that's the instructions. I don't know what this is. It's their little pen lipsticks and it's in Night Mauves. This is such a good formula. However, this color is questionable. I'm not a huge pink fan, but you know, this is what I've got. Despite the color, the formula is so creamy and delicious. It just like glides onto your lips, moisturizes them, makes them look so much better. I really love this formula. For the lip gloss, I don't have an expensive lip gloss. However, I do have this Too Faced lipstick from the Pretty Rich collection, and I feel like that should count. I do know that this collection was totally canceled for very valid reasons, but I don't have any other lip gloss that I can use for this, so I'm just gonna dab it, and I feel like it's also very appropriate because it's kind of duochrome-y, and it makes the lips make a little bit more sense with the eye look. I literally hate the lips with a passion, but I'm gonna do my eyebrows, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the look is done. I'm pretty triggered. I'm not gonna lie. I'm mainly triggered by this lip color. So let's just go over everything and basically talk about what is worth your money and what is not. You know what? None of it's worth your money. When you think about the way this world is set up, it's like, when the fuck will I be able to afford an $85 highlighter? Like, that is how much most people will make in a day. Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense to me. Now, this is something I just wanna talk about for a little bit. This is the Yves Saint Laurent Touche Eclat whatever primer. This is $52 at Sephora and it has 5-star reviews, which is really blowing my mind right now. You can 100,000% see the glitter through my makeup. I mean, I look like a fucking disco ball. When you factor in the highlighter I used as well, that had a lot of glitter, and just the eyes, like there's too much glitter on my face right now. As far as blurring my pores goes, this did absolutely nothing for that. I see my pores very clearly. It did not help my makeup like glide on any better than usual. So this is just completely not worth it. Like, it's not only not worth it, it's like offensive. That's my opinion anyway. Also, this, I can't with this fucking bronzer or foundation, sorry. This was absolutely useless. When we're talking about things that I actually liked in the video, obviously I do like both of these palettes. However, now that I've tried to use both of them in one eye look, I've realized that cohesively, they do not work well, not even on their own. Like, there's just no great way to get a look here, in my opinion. I feel like there's just not a good gradient of shades to get like a really nice blended out look. Like, I just, like I've said 1,000 times in this video, I had to put a transition and then just put a dark color on there. I'm not loving that. The Pat McGrath colors are very unique, and for that reason, I can totally see why this would be worth it for some people. However, I only use it for this shade and I would have never bought it if it was not given to me. So I don't believe that any of these are worth the money, just because anything over $100 should give me enough to make not just one, but multiple cohesive looks. Like, this just doesn't do that. This look is something I would really like to wipe off like right now. I'm just gonna have to give all of these a hard pass. You know, I'll use 1 or 2 eyeshadows here and there. That bronzer, I'm gonna just go burn in my backyard. And I'm gonna use the Blur Primer as lighter fluid. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you're new here, and I will see you next time. Bye.